Good evening, ladies and gents. There we go. Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to Las Vegas for the first of our American doubleheader here in SKG Tier 1. Season 16. We are coming towards the business end of this campaign, and I'm sure we're about to get some thrilling action under the lights in Nevada tonight. My name is George Sanderson, and alongside me, as always, in the commentary box is my good friend Oliver Lois. Ollie, it's good to be in America. It's good to be at Las Vegas. What can we expect from tonight? Where are you, Ollie? What a start! We're off. Fingers crossed, and you'll see already Magnussen Cube has retired in his pit garage. He is serving a quali ban here today. We have a few drivers serving race bans as well. Milan, Sausage Joe, and the winner of last time out, Takubi, all serving race bans for too many penalty points. Takubi, the big name, of course, missing there, the record breaker, the most pole positions, the most race wins. He has to sit this one out and will also serve a quali ban at COTA next week. So very damaging for his title aspirations. What was a faint aspiration as it was, practically zero now, depending on how tonight goes, as we see Risbo absolutely wipe out a bollard there as he turns onto the Las Vegas Strip for the first time. But yeah, no Takubi in this one. Ferrari unveiling one of their new drivers here tonight, Lawrence Patten, who is coming for Goat Ghosty until the end of the season. And they'll be hoping that in Takubi's absence, Lawrence can put the team as high up the grid as he possibly can. But for now, we are going to look at Risbo as he goes round on his first lap. But Ollie, you mentioned Tier 4 wasn't that good earlier this weekend. We saw a bit of drama in Tier 2 earlier today. But what are your predictions for this race tonight for Tier 1? Interesting. So Parker going for what is just his second win of the season. He won the season opener and has only then been on the podium twice in the last 7 rounds. So also in the last last 7 rounds. So Parker hoping for a return to form here tonight. It's been a couple of races since he was on the podium, last in round 6 of the season, and his teammate has outclassed him, quite frankly, recently. Tom Campbell is on a run of 3 straight races where he has qualified and finished ahead of his teammate. He really has, despite being 30 points behind him, well, 28 to be exact, points behind him in the Drivers' Championship. Tom Campbell has really led that team in the last few rounds, so Parker will be hoping, as we see Risbo invalidate at essentially the final corner. But yeah, Parker, as we watch him come towards the final sequence, will really be hoping for a return to form here tonight. And as we come up towards the start-finish line, now we have, I believe that's a McLaren coming across the line. It is Mark Daniel with a 30.5. Parker, though, immediately blows him out the water by nearly half a second with a 30.039, which already eclipses the Tier 2 pole time. And it's beaten straight away again by the debutant in the Ferrari. Nat M is making his SKG and Tier 1 debut here tonight, reserving for Ferrari in Takubi's absence. And well, straight to the top of the timings, Ollie. That is Kacper Jędrzejczyk. On my screen, he is also just a dot as well. I've heard in the Tier 1 chat for someone else, he's down as just Kacper. So I think his name is a little bit glitched tonight. But the dot on your screen is Kacper Jędrzejczyk, yes. As we see a little brief yellow flag. I would also appreciate, so we're going to try and get Supply Raptor in during Quali, Ollie, but also if we could try and get to Kubi an invite. I'm not sure if he's been in the session to... Oh no, he had been in the session. My apologies to Kubi if you're watching the stream. I didn't realise that he had been in. So all 3 drivers with race bans that needed serving tonight have served them, although there is also 2 more races worth of race bans for Milan and Sausage Joe after their intentional DNFs last time out. But currently, we are having a look at Kacper Jędrzejczyk as we are going to ride on board with the Red Bull for his flying lap. His beautiful helmet shimmering under the lights here in Las Vegas. And here we go then, Kacper Jędrzejczyk starting his first flying lap of this qualifying session. He's been there or thereabouts in recent races and is firmly in the battle for third at the moment. What have you seen, Ollie? You haven't ticked the box the entire time?
I just ticked the box!
Oh no!
Oh,
the technical issues tonight. Oh well. Ollie, hello. Nice to hear you at last. Apologies for that that stream. I just assumed Ollie had ticked the box. Never mind.
Oh, great.
But how are you, Ollie?
I'm doing very well, thank you, mate. It's good to be here. Yeah.
Oh, what a time to be alive.
First time was my mic was muted. The second time I didn't tick the box. Great.
We're doing really well here, chat. We have been on board with Cats for this whole lap, but we haven't really commentated his lap. We'll do that for someone else later on in the session. But it looks a pretty clean lap so far by Kacper Jędrzejczyk, and as the totally unbiased Ferrari team principal, I'm very happy looking at those timing sheets at the moment. Lawrence Patton, quickest of a 29.7, and in his reserve teammate for tonight, second quickest on a 29.8. So a good start for the Scuderia here in Las Vegas. Parker down in 5th now, his teammate all the way down in 8th.
I can almost hear the smile in your voice.
You absolutely can. Have we got any word on Supply Raptor, by the way? Is he...
I have sent an invite, so we now just wait.
We'll see. But, yeah, there we go. Now, I think everything is in working order with the stream. Kacper Jędrzejczyk went P6, although 2.5 tenths behind Parker in 5th. At the moment, there is quite a gap between some of the drivers in this grid at the moment, as you can see. 1 second covering the 14 drivers who have set lap times, but the top 3 separated by a tenth, and then you have to go over a tenth further back to Parker and Esko Kalevi, and then another 2 and a bit tenths back to 6th place. There's a few gaps in the order at the moment. But, yeah, we have a few drivers out at the moment. Esko Kalevi out on track, currently 4th and currently 2nd in the championship standings. Is Esko just a single point behind Parker? So if he was to take pole position here today, that would draw him level, but still be behind Parker on countback, with the VCARB driver having 2 second place finishes compared to Esko's 2 third places. So it would be a step in the right direction for Esko Kalevi. Who should we ride on board with for the
Balázs
hot
has
lap?
started his lap, so might as well do the Hungarian.
He's already a corner in. We want to see the whole thing. We'll go for.
There is no one close to the line.
who to jinx, it's probably going to have to be either Nat, Esco, or whoever the Alpine is behind. I believe that's...
Let's do
that's
Nat.
not Boaty, that's Risbo. Let's do
I'm sure
Nat,
you'd love
okay.
love to do commentary on your own team.
Well, here we go. Commentator's curse incoming for Ferrari, potentially. Or can we finally break the curse as he comes up to the line to start his second lap in qualifying? He's going to try and find a tenth of a second to get to pole, as we see Supply Raptor has arrived for Mercedes. But through the first couple of corners, sticking the power down as early as possible through turns 3 and 4 there, and the DRS wide open as we go down this half a mile straight on Koval Lane as Silo goes even quicker, 29.5 from the man in the Mercedes. That is rapid pace, and all of a sudden Nat's job gets that bit harder as we come towards the technical section around the Las Vegas sphere, as we saw a little lock up there from the Ferrari. Sticks to the right hand side for the final left hander out to that technical middle sector, clobbers the wall slightly. It won't cost him too much time as we now head towards the Las Vegas strip through the right hander, then the left hander. Those two both flat out at turns 10 and 11. Hard on the brakes at 12, clips the inside curb, gets as close to the wall on the exit, but perhaps a little too deep there, and had to sort of turn away from the wall. Coming up to the second sector split, I didn't actually see if he was up or down that, so we'll wait until he gets to the line. DRS open as we go down the Las Vegas strip here, and he has his Ferrari teammates ahead of him, who might give him a little toe to the line potentially, but I think a little bit too far back through the final couple of corners, as close to the wall as possible. That's too close, and that might just be the worst commentator's curse of the season so far. Oh dear.
What have you done?
This was your decision. This could have been Esco Kalevi in the wall. Instead,
Well,
Esco
Esco
Kalevi is coming up to the line and is about to improve in his lap time. No, he's not.
Well, we said we just keep
attempt
saying it. We keep saying
on
it.
cursing people.
Parker.
I will say.
Parker is
Yeah.
a 10.5 up. But have we? We spoke about him.
Yeah.
So
Parker, a tenth and a half up at the moment,
crash.
and he only needs to find a thousandth of a second to match the time of Esco Kalevi. That's how close the two title protagonists are at the moment, but I think that gap is about to widen as Parker comes up to the line, and they swap places, but Parker with the slightly quicker improvement there, finding a tenth and a half.
I'm going to keep an eye on the man of the last few races, you must say, Tom Campbell. 2 tenths up in that first sector. He's kind of sitting on 30.3. He's down in P13, which is surprising for him, as he's consistently been up there for, the last 3 or 4 races, I think it was. So you expect Campbell to realistically be up there in that top 6 after his recent run.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom very much out of position at the moment, down in 13th place. We'll have a look as he comes across the second sector split. Is he up on his time? He is by just over a tenth and a half at the moment, but that is not the improvement he needs. I mean, it will probably rocket him up into the top 10, but not close to provisional pole as he tries to get every last little bit of slipstream that he possibly could off of his title rival there, Esco Kalevi. Towards the final couple of corners we go then for Tom Campbell, hard on the curb throughout it. Does he keep it out the wall? He does, unlike the Ferrari we saw earlier on, who has now dropped down to 5th place as Boaty gets himself up onto the second row of the grid. What can Tom Campbell down? Not down to 14th. It's only P12 for the Australian. What has happened to Tom Campbell's pace tonight?
Yeah, he's really not finding the groove. But as we were riding on board with the VCARB, the fight provisional pole is very much on. Lawrence Patton just gone within 3 thousandths of a second of Silo, so we really have a fight for pole position here with your driver there. And yeah, also Boaty going P4, which was lovely.
Yeah, a great lap by Boaty as we see Tom slightly missed the corner there. He went in a bit too hot at the section around the Las Vegas sphere. But I tell you what, it's a night for the debutants tonight. It is. We've got Silo on provisional pole by 3 thousandths of a second from Lawrence Patton at the moment. Both of them making their own type of debut tonight, as we've seen Lawrence and Boaty practically going side by side through the final corner there. But yeah, Silo making his SKG debut, Lawrence Patten making his debut his debut for Ferrari in season 16 at least. It may even be his full Ferrari debut. Let me have a check. Indeed it is. So his debut for Ferrari, but not his first race in Tier 1. Lawrence Patten has 8 races before that, with a best finish of 4th. Josh Rothwell, new driver, we haven't really mentioned him too much, up in 3rd at the moment, outclassing his full-time teammate for the night, Mark Daniel. Boaty up in 4th on what is his 2nd start as well. So it's all the fairly new drivers who are the class of the field at the moment. Nat, despite retiring, still up in 5th as well.
Yeah, as Casper is just currently limping home, that'll mean everyone's in the pit lane, but I'm sure we will see some action.
Yeah, we are about to see Silo coming out of the pits, and if there is anyone we want to watch a hot lap for, it is quite possibly going to be this man in the Mercedes, because he has set some blistering pace early on, which was almost matched by Lawrence Patten, 3 thousandths of a second between the two of them. But what can Silo do this time around, as we see the entire grid flooding out of the pit lane at the moment, but it will be the Mercedes who starts his final lap first.
Oh, as Supply Raptor has come to a stop just out of turn 1, and he's been disqualified.
Disqualified, I wonder, I hope not, but I wonder if there's maybe a pedal slash wheel issue there, but we will have to wait and see. But that does mean Supply Raptor will be starting from the back of the grid in 18th place, as we rattle on with the Mercedes at the moment of SCI Silo. And we are going to keep an eye on him for his entire lap. I'm very excited to see what this man can do, because he's come in with quite a big reputation among the drivers, but well, I don't know about you, Ollie, but I do not know anything about Silo, so seeing him up there straight away was very impressive.
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to keep an eye on Silo, I'll keep an eye on his closest rival up in P2 at the moment, so we can compare how they're doing.
Absolutely, so let's ride on board with Silo. So we go into turn 1, dropping down the gears to 3rd gear, getting back on the power as quickly as he can before getting to the left hand side and sweeping through the double right hander of turns 3 and 4. DRS wide open now as we head down Koval Lane. This half a mile dash towards turn 5, the 90-degree right hander, hard on the brakes, turns it in, uses as much of the inside curve as possible and as much of the exit as he can without touching the wall, sticking to the left before darting over to the right for this tight and technical section around the Las Vegas Sphere. Turns 7, 8 and then the left hander of 9 as we exit back towards the high speeds action of this circuit, going through the flat out right hander of turn 10 before the flat out left of 11, and thinking about that braking point onto the Las Vegas Strip, hard on the brakes. 3rd gear cuts as much of the inside of the corner as he has, and that may just have been perfect. He's a tenth and a bit up on his previous best time, and Silo is absolutely flying down the Las Vegas Strip now. Palm trees to his left, the famous iconic landmarks of Las Vegas surrounding him as the lights beam down. Thinking of that braking zone at the end of this 1.9 kilometre straight. Left, then right, then left again through the final few corners. And now it's a dash to the line. Ollie is screaming in the background. I'm not sure what he's seen there, but something for Lawrence Patten. Here comes Silo. It's a 1:29.450. He lost a little bit of time in the final sector, but it doesn't matter. That is provisional pole for the Mercedes. What can the Ferrari do? Well, he's without a front wing. I don't think he'll be doing too much, Ollie.
The top 4, apart from Silo, they're all out. Yeah, Lawrence, Josh had a spin at the end of the strip. Boaty has backed off. Parker has also backed off. Esco could not improve, so he stays P7. So
Parker is giving his teammates a tow at the moment. Yeah, Portuguese Beast up to 5th, but Parker gave his teammate a tow, but I think there might have been a misjudgment in communication between the two of them, because Tom has also invalidated, so the title rivals of Parker and Esco Clevia all the way down on the 4th row of the grid. Here comes Tom Campbell, who is invalidated, crosses the line with a 29.741, which would have been good enough for 5th place. But instead it's 13th for the Australian, his worst qualifying in a long time for Tom Campbell. But instead, out at the front, he went unchallenged in the end. Silo, pole position on debut, and the first debut pole since Victor Weidler back in Belgium of season 14.
Absolutely fantastic job, yeah, and riding on board with Lawrence Passon through that first sector, I believe he was about half a tenth up, so he was improving. But unfortunately, just out of that corner, that's a very tricky corner. The corner before you run onto the Las Vegas Strip, just clouted the curb and unfortunately got into the wall on the outside and then threw himself into the wall on the left out of frustration.
Well, what a qualifying that was then. Time to take a little breather as we wait for this race around Las Vegas. 25 laps of this 6.2 kilometre circuit, and it is going to be a dry start at least. We'll wait and see if it is a dry race throughout. So let's take you through your grid. It's not letting me. There we go, that's better. Let's take you through the grid then. So front row, Silo and Lawrence Passon in the end still ended up on the front row together, as all of the top 4 did not improve on their final run. Josh Rothwell on the second row on debut with Botti alongside him. Portuguese Beast and Nat on row 3. Nat's perhaps a little bit lucky to still be on the 3rd row of the grid after his qualifying retirement. Parker and Esco Clevi on row 4 with Balash and his Rebel teammate Katzbay and Jacek rounding out the top 10. AMS Callum and Trosh making an all Aston Martin row 6 with Tom Campbell all the way down in 13th. Alongside Mark Daniels, McLaren, 2 drivers definitely out of position. Ethan Quigley and Risbo are 15th and 16th, and the grid rounded off by Magnussen Cube, who served his quali ban, and Supply Raptor, who was disqualified.
I'm still sticking to my Parker win prediction. I'm not changing.
So a Parker home win is Ollie's prediction.
Is he the only American in here? I believe he is.
No, Supply Raptor as well, but it is going to be a big ask, I feel, for Supply Raptor to win this race from 18th on the grid. No one has ever won from 18th in the history of SKG, so if he was to do it, he would be writing his name into the history books, that is for sure. I think the man at towards the front who will be least confident might be Botti, because it has been 26 races since anyone won from 4th place, which, you know, to say it's so high up is quite surprising.
Well, the pressure is on him now, and yeah, we'll have to wait and see as we are going then.
There we go to the 5 red lights here in Las Vegas. The grid curving round the final corner as we go racing at last in Nevada. And it's a good start for Silo, who looks to defend turn 1 from the Ferrari and Lawrence Passon, and he does so as Joe Rothwell tries to go around the outside. Esco Clevi and Parker, is a contact between the 2 championship rivals. They're both facing in the right direction if there is. But contact between the championship protagonists as we go side by side all the way down towards turn 5. It's been a good start for Joe Rothwell, who's up a place into 2nd. But in the background, Esco, Clevi and Parker still side by side. Okay. We're practically 4 wide in the background as well. But it is a good start for Josh Rothwell, a good start for Silo, who continues to lead us around. And everyone making it through the first sector, Ollie.
Yeah, I don't know what was happening there, but saying Parker and Esco at the back was, oh my word, my heart, that was something, but I think the television just glitched as they are back where they started. Oh, wow.
Trosh there with a 10-second time penalty. That one I'm sure would be looked at the stewards. However, he will have to serve the time penalty in the pit lane, so not too sure if there's much the stewards can do about that one. It may have been better if Trosh had just returned the position on whoever he gained it from, as Lawrence Passon has a dramatic look out from the slipstream of the McLaren, but nothing doing in terms of making a move at the end of the Las Vegas Strip this time around. Silo leads as we come towards the line. Josh Rothwell following on behind them.
Yeah, Boaty under pressure from Esko Kalevi. He's looking to the inside. Boaty on the hard tyres, so we'll have that slow
switch back from Esko Kalevi. That is fantastic stuff by the man who started the night second in the championship. As it stands, he's taking the championship lead. There's a yellow flag for Supply Raptor in the background, who has gone around his home race, going from bad to worse here for the man in the Mercedes. But his Mercedes teammates will be absolutely loving this, leading the way on the medium tyres, and he has half a second back to the McLaren of Josh Rothwell. That is a tongue twister and a half, I'm afraid, that name. And I keep on wanting to call him Joe Rothwell, who is a football player, so I can't even do that. But yeah, interesting strategies here, Ollie, because we've got Lawrence Patton up in third place, but as you can see there, white wall hards on the Ferrari, so he's going to go long and look to go to the yellow wall mediums at the end of this race.
Yeah, there's a few people who have started on the hards, as Josh with the DRS closing in, but too far back for now.
Yeah, not close enough this time, but in the background we do have moves going on between Catsby and Jacek and Boaty, as Catsby gets himself up into 7th place. Parker is down in 9th now. He's dropped even further back from his starting position, and he is down
on the hards.
2 places. But on the hard tyre, and I see him up the inside. Oh my god, almost into the pit wall from the V-Carb as he makes his way down the inside of Boaty. And the Red Bull of Balash trying to force his way through as well. Boaty tried to slam the door shut in his face. Didn't quite work out. And now he has Tom Campbell trying to go around the outside to force him out of the top 10. We ride on board with the V-Carb as he goes alongside the Alpine. And he'll get that move done even before the break-in zones. Tom Campbell up 3 places. Supply Raptor retires in the pits and calls it a night on his home race. I reckon we might find him in one of the many casinos that line this circuit by the end of this night.
Yeah, I didn't notice, but Ethan Quigley has had some sort of incident. He's come, I think he pitted for a new set of hards, and so yeah, he must have been caught up in some incident in that mid-pack, so not good for Williams.
Yeah, not ideal for one Williams, but for the other, he'll be rubbing his hands together. Esko Kalevi has a car between him and his championship rival, and is still within the train of cars in the leaders DRS. Silo continues to lead us away, but everyone all the way down to Magnussen Cube in 14th are part of this one DRS train at the moment, as Josh Rothwell has a think about a move down the inside, but nothing doing once again. He's getting close, bit of a wiggle there on the exit. He did well to keep that one out the barriers.
Oh no, oh my god. AMS Callum, Magnussen Cube and Mark Daniel were going side by side, and I thought that was going to end up in the inner wall, but they managed to stay alive. But yeah, that was I had to stand back.
Heart in mouth moment as we saw a little lock up there from, I believe that was the Haas of Magnussen Cube into turn 1. His teammate Portuguese Beast still up in 4th place at the moment. It's been a good race start for him.
Yeah, he's been going around. We haven't really spoke about him really, and no, yeah, he's been up there.
He's been quietly going about his business in this first stint of the race, keeping in touching distance to the top 3, but not really mounting any sort of challenge on them. Natem is in 5th place, up 1 place from where he started the racing. It's Boaty who's the big loser so far, down 7 places, the Alpine, and out of the top 10, having started all the way up in 4th place.
Oh,
so back
Casper,
on to
what was that? Oh my wood. That was a corner cut and a half I've ever seen one. He's getting close to the back of Esko Kalevi.
Yeah, he is gaining and gaining, but is he going to be close enough to make a move this time around? I don't believe he is going to be, and still no real movement up ahead of them. Everyone getting closer and closer, although in fact that time around there was movement. I
said it.
I'm completely wrong. Josh Rothwell takes the lead away from Silo, heading down the DRS straight on the Las Vegas Strip. And we have our first change to leaders. Josh Rothwell has gone from 3rd to 1st inside the first 5 laps. So great start to his debut. We've had a debut pole sitter in Silo, the first one since season 14. Could we have a first debutant take victory since season 12 with AMS Vettel back in Saudi Arabia? Well, at the moment, Josh Rothwell and Silo are certainly staking their claim to that accolade. Looking further back, Trosh has dropped back in the Aston Martin, but no damage on his car. He's just fallen away from the main pack by the looks of things. Parker
I'm going to ask
in a bit
you a
of
question.
Red Bull. Go for it.
What is the constructor standings looking like?
Right this second? Or
No, just in general.
heading into it? Heading into this, I was going to say, I do not have the live standings right now, but heading into this round, VCarb leading the way on 178 points, Red Bull in second on 147, and, well, right now, those two teams occupy the bottom 4 places in the points standings of 7th and 9th, 8th and 10th between the two of them. Williams are in third on 132, and then you have to go all the way back down to 96 for Ferrari. Oh, big slide from Parker coming through the final couple of corners. Was that what you saw as well, Ollie?
No, I was looking at Josh Rothwell who had a slide and into the wall, and there's Lawrence passing up the inside into turn 1. Can he get this done? He does.
He certainly does, and Josh Rothwell goes from first to third in a matter of a couple of corners. We were watching the battle between Tom Campbell and Balash as Tom got himself past the Red Bull and right behind his teammate now, as we see Josh Rothwell practically pushing Lawrence Patten through the end of this first sector. But Lawrence not to be budged so far. He's up into second place on hard tyres that will be getting quicker and quicker in comparison to the mediums around him. He is in a fantastic position at the moment in this race, and certainly one to keep an eye on going forward in this first stint.
I'm enjoying this. 3 debutants all leading, and, well, pulling a little bit of a gap to Portuguese beasts, so they're kind of in a bit of a 3-0 fight of their own, and I'm loving this.
It has certainly been entertaining so far, and yeah, as you say, 3 debutants in their own way. Silo and Josh Rothwell making their SKG debut entirely. Lawrence Patten making his first ever start for the Scarlet Ferrari team. And he holds on to second place quite comfortably there from Josh Rothwell, just ducking out of the DRS not to get too close to the back of the Mercedes ahead of him. But this train continues on, the entire top 12 all within the same train of DRS as we begin lap 7 of 25. And no one quite close enough to make any moves at the front at the moment. But big slide from Portuguese Beast in the background. That might leave him vulnerable to the Ferrari of Nat FM. I saw that little moment of opposite lock from the Portuguese driver. But it looks like he's managed to hold on this time around and stays in 4th place. But that was a bit of a hair-raising moment for the man in the Haas as he clips the wall as well. But I don't believe any damage on his car.
Oh, Casper looking up the inside into the middle sector on Esco Galevi. Oh, bit of contact.
Oh, there's contact! There's contact between the two of them. Esco holds on to the position, but Katzmer getting impatient now leaves him under threat
does
from
Esco have
Parker,
damage?
who is tucked. Does who have damage? Esco?
I thought Esco had damage, but I think it was the lighting not showing his front wing properly.
Just the lighting on that one. No damage to the Williams, and behind him though a full-on chase as Parker is tucked right behind the Red Bull of Katzbay and Jacek, who in turn is up the rear end of Esco Kalevi. We could have a fight on for 6th place very soon, but here comes Parker. Is he going to be close enough to make the move? I don't believe he is. He looks out of the DRS to try and fill the mirrors of Katzby and Jacek. A bit of a tap in the rear of the Red Bull there, which unsettles the pole ahead of him. But if anything, that's just cost Parker more than it has Katzby and Jacek. And now, in fact, the championship leader coming under pressure from his teammate, Ollie.
Yeah, Tom Campbell, he's slowly making progress. Obviously, started lower than he currently is, but yeah, he's now on the back of his teammate. I don't know if there'll be team orders or Tom will try and stay behind. They're both on the same tyres, so they will both have that same advantage in terms of tyre wear. And it'll be interesting to see which one of these two pits first. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see through as this race goes on.
you have to imagine that the fairest way VCARB can do it is whoever is leading by the time of the pit stops gets to pit first, because otherwise it's going to be a bit of favouritism between the VCARB camp. And of course, Tom isn't out of this championship battle just yet. With 3 rounds to go after today, there is still, 75 points worth of race wins, plus an extra 6 for all the pole positions and fastest laps. So 81 points up for grabs. He is well and truly still in this championship fight if he has a good result tonight and can close in on that 28-point margin. It was the first time in 3 races they've been out-qualified by Parker, but he is all over the back of his teammates here tonight. And further forward, you can see the Ferrari of Laurens Patten having a think about to move on Silo, but opts to stay behind once again. And it's a bit of a waiting game, I think, between the top 3 at the moment.
Yeah, everyone being stuck in the DRS train. It's kind of like, it's a bit hard to watch with everyone really realistically not being able to make an overtake unless it's into a braking zone.
Oh, Joe Rothwell has a late move! Ran down the inside.
What
Fantastic reactions by Joe Rothwell, who gets the move done on Laurens Patten. Laurens had a brief look up the inside of Silo before committing back to the regular racing line, and Josh Rothwell decided, well, this is my opportunity, and he dived it down the inside. A lovely move into turn 1 that promotes the McLaren back up into 2nd place, and fantastic racing by the debutant there as he gets his way back past the Ferrari. What a move that was.
What have I just seen? Just as we were talking about, well, I was talking about how the racing has kind of gone a bit stale. Well, yeah,
that was
lovely
phenomenal
move from the McLaren. Yeah, I mean, he needed to make that done. He needs to make that stick.
That was a mix of him not expecting the Ferrari to come back to the racing line, and also just sensing the opportunity, because he seemed to slide his way into turn 1 as he didn't quite take evasive action, but I just think he wasn't expecting the Ferrari. I think he believed Laurens was going to commit to the move for the race lead, and instead he backed out of it, and that meant the McLaren, who was planning on braking later, as he now comes under pressure for 2nd place, but keeps hold of the position for now. But yeah, I think Josh was just expecting Laurens to brake late and was going to brake late himself, and instead he came under pressure and had to make the move as they dive between it, and that will be a time penalty for the McLaren. He's
going to speed in?
He's going to speed in the pit lane as well, and he retires from the pits. And that's a shame it's ended like that. I feel there was still a race to be had for Josh Rothwell, but yeah, not wanting to do it there. It was a little bit naughty, the pit entrance in the first place. He crossed the white line on the pit entry there to make a very late call to come into the pit lane, and then as soon as he sped in, he has rage quit the session. And that is McLaren down to 1 driver, and that being Mark Daniel, who, well, with that retirement, gets promoted into the points.
Yeah, so as that was happening, we had 3 cars into the pit lanes. Both Red Bulls decided to double stack, which I think is an interesting call, as Balazs was a couple of cars behind, so he would have known that Casper was coming in, but still chose to come in and get that double stack, and Manxon cubed. So Casper now going onto the hards for the remainder of the race, and he's already gained about 7 or 8 tenths on cold hards through that middle sector. So I think we're going to see a few pit stops.
Absolutely, I expect here we're going to see probably Silo, Portuguese Beast, Nat and Esco Kalevi all come into the pits, and quite possibly Mark Daniel down in 10th place. None of them will be double stacking if they were all to pit this lap, because they are of course all from separate teams. And will we see it from the race leader? Will he make the call, or will he opt to stay out? He has stayed out, Ollie. So Silo not into the pits, but Portuguese Beast and Nat MF1 are both into the pit lane.
Yeah, so now it's just Esco Kalevi versus the 2 Racing Bulls. They're both on the hards, so obviously they will be going, I don't know what lap they would want to pit, maybe lap 15, 16, 17 maybe.
Well, that's
yeah,
the beauty for the guys on the hard tyres. There,
so here comes Parker.
Essentially, oh, there goes Parker as we're riding on board with Esco. Down the inside goes the Australian. Can he get the move done on his teammate's championship rival? A bit of wheel banging between the two of them. They're still side by side as we go towards turn 7 and 8. And Esco shuts the door. And Tom tries to force it back down the inside with the switchback, but it doesn't quite pay off. But this is all costing Esko Kalevi valuable time as he tries to make the undercut work. Tom Campbell playing a marvellous team game in the eyes of Parker, at least. As Parker will look to escape out at the front. Ahead, he's 8 attempts clear of the Williams, and he may even open up enough of a buffer for him not to get DRS. Let's have a watch. Not quite. Esko Kalevi will get the DRS down the Las Vegas strip. But Tom Campbell forcing the issue there with the Williams. And I think we're about to see him make the move for 4th place.
Yeah, Esko has no battery. Absolutely none. So you just can't do anything apart from letting the VCARB go through. And yeah, that little scruff that they had in that middle sector, maybe Esko didn't turn his overtake button off or something, or because it's weird that he had just no battery as they went onto the strip, as he's going to come into the pit lane now. So yeah, he's going to get out of this little train and get into some clean air. So he's probably going to fall down a few positions.
A very cautious pit entrance there from the championship contender as he breaks down to the speed limit, as we see Silo make his pit stop from the lead of this race as well. So that is everyone off the medium tyres, and now we have the waiting game of when the hard tyre runners will make their pit stops. Silo comes out crucially at the front of the pack of those drivers who have made their pit stops. However, that overcut clearly has closed the gap with Catesby NJ Chip, because now he is right on the back of the man in the Mercedes.
Yeah, Casper's done a great job on his few outlaps that he's done to now realistically be sitting up in that front group that we were watching with obviously Lawrence Passon and then obviously Josh Rothwell, who we have now lost. But Casper's now once again in the race. Never count him out, like we always say.
Absolutely. Esko Kalevi, by comparison, comes out behind Nat MF1 by 3 seconds. So that could be crucial for the Williams. That is a big chunk of time that he has to try and make back now to this top group, who are all running nose to tail as things stand. We see Parker and Tom Campbell swapping positions down the Las Vegas strip. That could also be crucial in its own right, because remember, the VCARB's running the same strategy here. Whoever is the lead car come that pit window will likely be allowed to pit first in this race. But one man who is going to be very happy at the moment is Lawrence Patten. 3.1 seconds, 3.2 almost seconds clear of the two VCARBs. He has well and truly separated himself from their battle. And now I think his focus is going to be keeping that gap and making sure he can burn his tyres up as much as possible until he makes his pit stop.
Yeah, Silo catching Trosh, who hasn't pitted yet, and Trosh just pulls off to the right-hand side. Is he going to let his guys go through?
I don't think he is. I think Trosh putting up a bit of a fight here. Side by side, Silo going around the outside at turn 5. What a lovely move that is by the Mercedes. Gets himself past and up into a net race lead. And P1 as Catsberg goes around the outside now at turn 7. That's also a beautiful move there. Trosh completely defenceless on those old hard tyres, but don't underestimate the skill from both Silo and Catsberg to go round the outside at turns 5 and 7 respectively. What a fantastic couple of overtakes there. We've got the Haas of Portuguese Beast right up behind Trosh, but he's going to be losing valuable time throughout these few corners there, and he finally gets the move done. But at this point, he's nearly a second back from Catsberg and JJ, because Rizbo retires on track. That could bring out a safety car. We ride around with Ethan Quigley. I think we have just got away with it, but what happened to his car? Classic F1 fashion, it disappears just before we get there. But judging by the position of the car, I believe he might have just lit up the rear a bit too quickly on the exit and bumped it into the wall and lost a wheel, perhaps.
Yeah, I think you might be spot on with that prediction, as Portuguese Beast clears the very, very treacherous and slow Aston Martin as Nat tries to do it. Is he going to get switched back at turn 2? Yes, he does. Oh, wow, what a move that is from the Ferrari. There's been some fabulous overtakes, I must say, from some of our drivers. So my hats off to all of you guys that have been making the outside moves, the inside moves, the switchback moves. Yeah, we're only on lap 14, there's still 11 laps to go.
Yeah, fantastic racing action so far, but you can see just how much the new hard tyre runners are beginning to catch. Silo only 13.2 seconds back from race leader Lawrence Patton, who I expect to see coming in the next 2 or 3 laps in this race. He currently leads the way by 3.5 seconds, but this hard to medium strat is a big gamble from him. He needs to get those hards as long into the race as he can and then push the mediums to their absolute limit. As in the background you see the VCARB swapping places once again, and Tom Campbell back up into second place. But of course, both of them still have their pit stops to make. Will we see either of them come into the pits this time around? Parker does. Parker goes for the early call. That's a gamble though, because we saw how much Esko Kalevi's tyres went off on his 11th lap of the race. Well, Parker is going to have to do 11 laps on his mediums as well, Ollie.
Yeah. As I completely got distracted what I'm about to say, my style is setting the fastest lap. But yeah, I think we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, we may still have a safety car, you never know. As Esko has just gotten past Parker now, so yeah, Esko undercutting the Racing Bulls, who comes out in a... Oh! Has he just had his wing broken? That was in the wall. I think he's okay.
No, he is absolutely fine, but he was in a battle as he wiggles to Magnussen Cube, perhaps letting his frustrations be known there. Heading through the 5th corner on this 6.2 kilometre circuit.
Yeah, he's almost now within the DRS of his rival, so if you get in that DRS, you can just save his tyres. And yeah, Esko catching Trosh, who obviously we saw was a bit of a moving roadblock to a few of our guys up ahead. So yeah, Park now inside the DRS and going to try and make a move on his championship rival as soon as possible.
Esko tucked up in the slipstream of the Aston Martin and about to make the move, but he doesn't want to make it too soon, otherwise he won't get the DRS. And there goes Parker, who says, I'm not wasting any time, I want that move done now. But that does mean that the VCARB will not have the DRS heading down the straight. So will he be now swallowed up by the Williams and the Aston Martin? Well, the Williams of Esko Kalevi will make the move stick, but Trosh will not. So Esko's strategy there just about paying off as he wiggles his way through the final couple of corners. But it definitely cost him a bit of time, as into the pits comes Lawrence Patton and Thomas Campbell, both of them making their pit stops and going on to a fresh set of medium tyres until the end of this race. Out comes Lawrence, and crucially, he's ahead of Parker and Esko Kalevi, Ollie.
Yeah, he's got the pace he has. He's done a great job. Even when the Racing Bulls were actually swapping back and forth from second and third, obviously using the DRS to their advantage, just try and close that gap. Lawrence was extending it, so Lawrence is showing fabulous pace, and yeah, that's crucial.
Tom Campbell, 3-second time penalty, the only man with a track limits penalty in this race, because of course Trosh's penalty, as we see in the background, him going side by side with Mark Daniel in the McLaren through the middle sector, up the inside goes Tom Campbell, gets the move done, very nicely done between the two of them indeed. As ahead of them, Balash is trying around the outside of Trosh, which will turn to the inside, and he gets the move done. But yeah, Tom Campbell, the only man with track limit penalties. Trosh was a 10-second time penalty for an illegal overtake earlier on in this race, so that could be crucial for Tom Campbell. Further forward, Lawrence Patton in 5th place, about 4 seconds back though from the top 4 at the moment. And having a look at the pit stops, everyone apart from Trosh has pitted in this race. So this is genuine moves for position now we're looking at between
Trosh
here and lap 25, as Trosh is getting caught up in the incidents and has lost some front wing, and into the pits will come the Aston Martin as Parker sets the fastest lap of the race. In comes Trosh, and that might be his race done and dusted. We will wait and see. But at the moment, Katsby and Jacek versus Silo is the battle for the win currently.
Yeah, I was just thinking, watching these two earlier on in the race, it's like the future generation of SKG in Silo, and well, the old dog of SKG being Casper He's been here for
I'm
a few
sure
seasons.
he will appreciate being called an old dog. I'm sure he'll love that one. But yeah, Katzberg, of course, very experienced in this
That is
league.
what I was trying to say, but yes,
Yeah, making his 58th race start here today, and he would so love it to be his 6th win in SKG Tier 1. Takubi became our first repeat winner last week. Katzberg would love to do the same here tonight and become a second repeat winner in Season 16. But Silo is trying to make it 8 different winners in the first 9 races, and so far he's looking very cool, calm and collected at the front of the field. I'm just trying to sort of tally up the live drivers' standings with things as they are. Tom Campbell will of course lose some places, but he is currently in 8th place. And right now it will still be Parker in the championship lead, but his gap will still only be the 3 points, so it's still ridiculously close between him and Esko Kalevi at the top of the standings. Katzberg will be clear of Tom Campbell and Takubi in 3rd. He'll be on 92 points as things stand, with Tom on 79 and Takubi on 73. So yeah, good showing so far from Cats PNJ. Chicky saw it come out of nowhere, starting 10th, find himself in the battle for the race win.
Yeah, I'm just watching Tom Campbell as he's now got onto the back of his teammates' championship rival Esko Kalevi, so I shouldn't be an easy pass for the medium shod racing bulls against the obviously the 6-lap old hard tyres of the Williams. And one thing I was also thinking about is that Parker is going with Lawrence Patton, who is crucially catching up as, another penalty. Wow.
Ooh, Tom's race is going from bad to worse, and perhaps with it his championship aspirations here. Is this Tom Campbell accepting that perhaps his role for the final 3 rounds will be the support driver to his teammates' championship hopes as he makes the move on Esko Kalevi to get himself up into 7th place here? But I think it's going to be too little too late for his race, because he has 6 seconds of penalties now compared to everyone else having 0. It has not been an ideal race for the VCARB driver whatsoever.
No, it really hasn't. And well, you kind of have to say, how is he getting that many warnings? I mean, it really isn't that. It's
a
it's quite an
street
easy
circuit.
track.
There's walls everywhere. I am quite surprised that he has got quite as many penalties as he does, but there you go, I suppose. Each to their own. We've seen also, or you may have noticed on the timing screens, that Lawrence Patton is now all over the back of his Ferrari teammate, Nat MF1, who in turn has been passed by Portuguese Beast not long ago. So Portuguese Beast on the podium as things stand. It will be his first podium in SKG Tier 1. And they will be hoping to hold on to it, but if the man we're currently on board with has anything to say about it, I don't think he'll hold on to it for much longer. Here comes Lawrence Patton looking to get past his teammates, and I'm sure the men on the Ferrari pit wall will be saying to Nat M, hold up Parker, because he is following Lawrence Patton like for like every single lap here, matching the Ferrari as they go. And here comes Parker down the outside and gets the move done as though the other Ferrari just wasn't there. Nat down into 6th place now, Parker up into 5th, and this is looking better and better for the VCARB driver.
Yeah, he just like you were saying, there's nothing he could do to hold up the Racing Bulls, as they are now going to catch Portuguese Beast. So now it's a fight for a podium. I don't know if they'll catch the 2 race leaders that have kind of bolted away up at the front.
I think they need to get past Portuguese Beast this lap if they are to stand a chance at the race win, because Portuguese Beast is 3 seconds back from them. That would be a second a lap maybe to gain on the leaders, and then they'd have to overtake them. I think really the move for the podium position for Lawrence needs to be on this lap, and well, how close he is to the back of the Haas, I fully expect he's going to make the move down the Las Vegas Strip in a few corners time.
Yeah, I've got my interview up as the leader, and the gap extended from 3.5 seconds to 4 seconds from Portuguese Beast to yeah, to Silo. So yeah, they are losing time, being stuck behind Portuguese beasts, and yeah, they need to get this done now, or it might be too late for them.
Yeah, and here we go. So the DRS will open this time around for Lawrence Patten. He is gaining and gaining on the Haas already, and we've not even made it to the DRS. There it is. The gap in the rear wing opens, and this will be a very simple overtake for the Ferrari. But will Parker make it through as well? Absolutely he will. He continues to say to Lawrence Patten, anything you can do, I can do just as well in this race. And Lawrence up into the podium, 3.1 seconds back from the top two. And with 5 laps to go in this race, can he make a late charge for the race win here under the lights in the entertainment capital of the world here in Las Vegas?
Alright, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Parker just following the Ferrari through there. Yeah. And yeah, just thinking, well, Esko Kalevi, currently P8. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he will go to P7 with Tom Campbell's 6 seconds of penalties. But Parker, yeah, he's doing really well here, and obviously he's got his home race. This is a home race for him. Obviously he's got a home race next week. You know, maybe he's comes alive. He's coming alive in the Americas.
Well, he's needed to. It's still not a podium for Parker. He's will be 3 straight races without a podium, but at least it is an improvement in his form. The last few races, he has been dominated by his teammates, and this time around, he's just answering any critics and any doubters that he has what it takes in the championship this season, and finds himself in a battle for the podium, but just dropping outside of a second very briefly there from the Ferrari ahead of him. Will he get the DRS this time around?
Oh,
I don't think he has. He hasn't. Parker, crucially, dropping out of DRS. Could that be his hopes of a win? Dropping around him at the moment, 1.3 seconds back now, and he's starting to get caught back up by Portuguese Beast. So Parker's run coming to an end perhaps in this race, as it's now, rather than thinking about attacking the cars ahead of him, he's having to think about defending from those behind. Lawrence Patten, 2.2 seconds the gap. He gains about a second on that last lap. It's what he needs to do from now to the end of the race. We have 4 laps to go, including this one, and the Ferrari is on a charge. His full-time teammate Takubi may be taking a race ban, but well, Lawrence Patten believes he can be the man to take another victory for Ferrari and make it 2 wins in 2 races for the Scuderia.
yeah, I mean, what a team that would be. Takubi, who we always know is just so consistent and so fast, and Lawrence, who is just showing unbelievable pace here in Vegas. So that is a strong team.
It is a phenomenal race, to be fair, from Lawrence Patten. He's raced in 8 races before tonight during his Tier 1 career. It has been quite a short one for Lawrence Patten, but split over 3 seasons. His most successful one being back in season 14, where he got 4th, 5th and 9th place finishes in his 5 races. Last season he only featured 3 times and he retired in all 3 races, but so far, I mean, he is looking incredibly fast out there, but this lap he hasn't particularly gained on the leaders, still 2.2 seconds back, so are those mediums starting to drop off now on these last few laps of the race?
Yeah, it is also one thing to notice. Obviously, Parker is pitted 1 lap later, no, 1 lap earlier than Lawrence Patten, so obviously his tyres will be worse at the end of the race, and obviously the 2 hard runners behind him will obviously have that, well, more comfortable margin on their tyres, so Portuguese Beast may still actually get past Parker, and maybe even that.
Absolutely, and it's worth noting Tom Campbell, 6 seconds of penalties, is currently only dropping him 1 position in this race. He is currently heading down to 8th place as things stand. Because Magnussen Cube, 15 seconds off the race lead, and that is more than 6 seconds behind Tom Campbell in 7th, who is 8.5 seconds behind the leader. Lawrence is continuing to gain, but I'm starting to get the impression that his hopes of a race win here are maybe relying on the top 2 battling for the lead, which, well, we know Casper can put up a fight, and we know he can put in a fantastic overtake. We've seen it in this race. It's just, can he get close enough to the Mercedes for there to be a genuine overtaking opportunity. Kasper needs it, really, if he is to mount a title charge this season, because currently, with a second place finish, he is still 23 points off the championship lead, but if he was to get up to first, that gap comes down to 16 points, and at that point you really have to say Kazbierzyk is in title contention, but at the moment he just can't get close enough to the Mercedes. He's right behind him, but never close enough to make that vital move for the race lead.
Yeah, he's just been there ever since the pit stops, and well, you got to say Silo is doing an amazing job to hold off Kasper, who obviously we know is just, you know, he's up there with what, you know, one of the best on this, well, maybe one of the best drivers on this grid in general here in Tier 1. And you know, Silo on his debut, yeah, just showing that, you know, he might be the future of SKG, but
and
look
behind him though. Look behind, Lawrence Patton is still gaining 1.5 seconds now, the gap, but really he needs to be within the DRS for the last lap, and he does not have much battery left in comparison to the top two. Silo with a very healthy amount available to him for the final lap of this race. Kasper with a little bit less, but still about half of his battery was available. It's worth noting before we head on to this final lap of the contest, Ethan Quigley has played a blinder as the team game. He may be down in 15th, there may not be points coming his way tonight, but he pit with a lap to go and he went and set the fastest lap. That took the point away from a potential title rival for his teammates, and instead no one picking up the fastest lap point as things stand. So great teamwork there by Ethan Quigley in the Williams. When his race hasn't gone well, he hasn't given up, he's still found a way to help the team. But here we go, the last lap under the lights in Las Vegas, and I think it is going to be a two-way fight, Ollie, because that gap back up to 2 seconds now, back to Lawrence Patton in third place.
Yeah, I was just watching Tom Campbell get past Nat M, and I think he's actually extended the gap to Esko Kalevi enough that with his 6 seconds he will stay ahead of the Williams here, actually.
He has currently, yeah. He absolutely has. So Tom Campbell doing a marvellous job there to stay ahead of Esko. He'll, of course, lose the position to the Ferrari at the end of this lap. But, yeah, looking like it'll be a 7th place finish for Tom Campbell if he keeps it clean for the rest of this lap. Great recovery from him. Once again, getting somewhat fortunate with his race penalties there, as we are now seeing for the final time the run down the Las Vegas Strip. But will Kasper be close enough to challenge for the race lead? We go down past Caesar's Palace, past the fountains of Bellagio, as all the crowd that line these streets watch on expectantly. But is he close enough? I don't think he is, and instead it's the man in the Mercedes who has dominated proceedings tonight. He took pole position, the first debutant to take pole since back in season 14, but now he will cross the line and win on debut. Silo becomes the first debutant to win since AMS Vettel back in season 14. It was oh so close between Parker and Portuguese Beast across the line, but it's the Haas who takes 4th place away from the home hero. Parker is 5th. Tom Campbell does do enough to take 7th ahead of Esko Kalevi, who will have to be disappointed with 8th place there. And then Balash and Mark Daniel rounding out the points in 9th and 10th respectively. But it is SCI Silo who writes his name in the history books. A first debutant win since season 12. And he's done it in the entertainment capital of the world. And boy did he put on a show.
Oh yeah, what a race that was. I thoroughly loved that. Obviously the early battles between the three, well, I was going to say not new guns, but returning and new guns of obviously Silo. You've got to say Josh Rothwell, well, after making that little blunder in the pit stops, we're going to see more of him. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, Silo, hats off to him.
That was a phenomenal drive by Silo, the newly confirmed full-time driver at Mercedes, What a way to introduce yourself to your new surroundings. Pole position and race win. Only the 4th driver this season who has converted pole position into the race win. And he joins the list of Nardo in Saudi Arabia, Tom Campbell in Brazil, and Takubi in Qatar. And now he does it here in Las Vegas. Kacpiejicek, though, it's back-to-back second places to him. He has really found some form in these last few races, and he continues to try and eke his way into this championship battle. He's not done yet, Kacpiejicek. You can never write him off, and we certainly won't be doing that after tonight. But there you have it then. Your race results here in Saudi Arabia. Silo takes 26 points with 25 for victory and 1 for the pole position. Kacpiejicek in second place for a second consecutive race, with Lawrence Patton taking 3rd on his Ferrari debut and really helping the Scuderia team out there. Portuguese Beast 4th with Parker in 5th. Natem F1 in 6th on his debut, Tom Campbell 7th, Takubi, Esko Kalevi in 8th, Rava Balash in 9th, and Matt Daniel rounding out the top 10. What a fantastic race. In terms of what that means in the championship then, as we enter the final 3 rounds of the season, Parker leads on 113 points, Esko Kalevi 7 points further back on 106, Kacpiejicek on 92 points, and it's just 21 points between him and the championship lead. That means if he wins the final 3 races, he will be champion regardless of what Parker does. It is in his hands now for the Red Bull. 4th place is Tom Campbell on 81, Takubi in 5th on 73, and still Nardo somehow holding on to 6th place in the championship despite only finishing 2 races. In the Constructors, VCARB increase... actually, I don't think they do increase their advantage, but they're on 194 points, still leading the Constructors, ahead of Red Bull on 167, Williams on 136, and Ferrari on 119. That 3rd and 6th place finish doing them wonders. McLaren are 5th on 70, and then you have to go to Aston Martin on 66, Sauber on 62, Mercedes on 52. Big points there earned today by Silo. Fantastic stuff by them, as it's asking me to select my constructor for some apparent reason. But yeah, big points for Mercedes here today. And then, who is it after that? It is Haas on 36 and Alpine on 22. So, those are your provisional standings here after Las Vegas. But Ollie, it was all about Silo here today, and I don't think there's anyone else we could really give driver of the day to, except maybe Kacpiejicek.
Yeah, I'd definitely give it to Silo, 100%. I mean, Casper, you know, he did start 10th, did get up, did, you know, do a great job on his undercut and all that. Obviously then, you know, his tyres were actually 2 laps older than Silo's, and he was just sticking with the Mercedes. Despite one thing I did notice, that Casper was consistently lower battery than the Mercedes, so he was doing a good job at just keeping the battery level and, you know, keeping the pace to, you know, the Mercedes that risk, you know, he deserved the win. Casper, you know, deserved his 2nd place, so yeah, very much Silo driver of the day.
Absolutely, and as you say, phenomenal job by Kacpiejicek to pull himself up from what was a poor qualifying by his standards. He was hoping to get what would have been his his 40th top 5 start had he got it, but starting down in 10th, uncharacteristically low for Kacper. But once again, you can never rule out the man from Poland, and pulling himself up for a 3rd consecutive podium, no less. He has really found his form in the start of the 2nd half of this season. Next week, though, we begin the final stretch. We stay in America for next weekend, but fly over to the state of Texas, where we go to the Lone Star Circuit, the Circuit of the Americas, for round 10 of season 16. Then it's Austria and Mexico City to round us off in the following weeks. But for now, our attention will turn to Austin, Texas. The action kicking off Thursday night at 8 PM UK time for Tier 4, following that up on Friday at 8 PM for Tier 3, and then as always, your Super Saturday with Tier 2 at 5 PM UK and Tier 1 at 8 PM on Saturday the 21st of March. Myself and Ollie will be back in the commentary box, as far as I'm aware at least, and we very much look forward to having you there. But for now though, it's the man from Mercedes who takes the honours tonight as he begins his career in a new league at a new team, and it's Silo on top. Good night.